This video will be a full-on guide for Surf Greninja, only going to talk about Surf, and we will go over held items, I will go over emblems, tips and tricks, all the moves, and also explain gameplay for the second half of this video. Greninja is a attack-based ranged attacker, mainly played in central area, because he needs a lot of experience to be effective. If he gets that experience lead done, he will do a lot of damage and start getting a lot of chaos. And laning phase can be quite difficult. I know a lot of people are a big fan of this Pokemon in laning phase as well, but it's really, really bad. It has very bad early game, bad last hitting, and again, it needs kind of level lead. All these Pokemon like Cinderace, Greninja, Decidueye, they need kind of level lead to actually be able to do a lot of damage. But doesn't matter what, Greninja is an incredibly fun Pokemon, one of the most fun Pokemon in the entire game. So let's talk about the items. This is my current build for the held items. We have Attack Weight, Muscle Band, and Rapid Fire Scarf. If you don't like Attack Weight, you can also go for a Scope Lens. Both are totally fine. I just like the Attack Weight because it makes our Surf deal a lot of more damage. And Muscle Band, Rapid Fire Scarf just is a lot, very important. You auto-attack a lot, and your auto-attacks will do a lot of damage. For battle item, you can either go eject button, X attack, or full heal. I would only recommend X attack if you actually have a Blissey or something that can support you when jumping in. Otherwise, full heal and eject button, excellent choices, because you can also Surf eject button into opponents and just surprise them. And for emblems, this is what I currently play. It's still like a crit page. There's multiple things you can do. Either you go for, always make sure you go for 6 brown and 4 white, and then you can do whatever you want. You can either go for crit, flat attack, or HP. So this could be a page, or this could be a page right here as well. If you don't want any crit emblems, you can also just go for some HP, some attack. Just make sure you have 6 brown and 4 white. We start the game as Froakie, and we pick up Bubble or Substitute. We start with Bubble because it does damage. It's a skill shot in a lane that hits twice. It also slows. In case you go to laning phase, this will be your last hitting tool. But again, I would not recommend, picking this Pokemon into laning phase. On level 3, you get Substitute. Very useless, just spawns a Substitute. It can block some attacks of your opponents. Besides that, it's just a small dash. And that's literally about it. Next up, we have the boosted auto attack, which is very important. The boosted auto attack does multiple things. So first one, the ranged version, so it has a range and a melee version, as you can see right here. Melee version, and it also has a ranged version. They're both two different things. First up, the ranged version reduces the cooldown of your second move. So either Bubble or Surf, which we have soon. Every time you basic attack, you can see reduce the Bubble cooldown by half a second. So it's very important. And the boosted auto attack also slows. So right here's an example. If we make this thing move, you can see right now, and then we slow it. And you can see it's not big of a slow, but it still gets slowed on the boosted auto attack. And then the melee form doesn't give us cooldown reduction, as you can see right here. We use Bubble, it doesn't give us cooldown reduction, but it does missing percentage damage. So the lower someone is on HP, the more damage it will do. And also the boost auto attack in melee form right here dashes through the target every time. Every time you use boost auto attack in melee form, it will dash through the target. So very important to try and figure out a balance between, wanting your cooldowns back, but also going in and finishing off targets. On level 5, I'm only going to say this once, we only pick Smokescreen. Never go double team. Double team is terrible in Surf. We will only consider Smokescreen. Smokescreen is a dash in direction, and we leave a cloud behind. And if enemies are in this cloud, they actually lose vision for a while, and they can't really see anything around them. So it's actually very annoying. And it also gives us an instant boosted auto attack right here. So every time we do this, we get a boosted auto attack as well, which allows us to also assassinate further. And just like, we can either creep up on people and use Surf to finish someone off or something, engage a fight with it, or we can also easily escape with it. So it's just a much better option. And now on level 7 we pick Surf, which this build is about, which is a dash in a direction, right here. We just dash in a direction, and we do damage through, just through anything we hit. This can hit multiple targets as well. It's not just one target, so if we do like this, right, we hit both targets. There's no limit to it, it can hit multiple targets. It will also heal us, but the most important thing is it does additional damage to someone who is under half HP, and if you knock out something, it doesn't matter if it's a wild Pokemon or enemy Pokemon, it completely resets its cooldown. So I'm going to turn cooldowns on right now. I'm going to do the blue buff right here. You can see it. I'm going to do right now. We do bonus damage. And you can see on the bottom right, it resets. If we just do it like this, it will not be reset. And then if we hit, let's say this thing right here, it's going to fully reset. And this is where you really have to play. And that's also where the attack weight comes in handy, because attack weight can help us get those resets in. And also the level lead, where I said you kind of want to play it in central area, because if you don't get those resets, it can be quite awkward. So your entire goal is getting those resets in and making sure you actually finish some targets off to make sure you get those resets. And that's why the level lead of jungle is so important. On level 9, we pick up the Unite move. It's just a huge area of effect damage. It does damage once. It slows on the first part, and the second part will knock up enemies. So again, dash in direction. We can also choose where we land. So it's also completely to us. It has a lot of range. And it's similar to Blaze Kick of Cinderace. Depending on where we put our cursor, we can decide. So if I do it to the left, I will land on the left side. If I do it up top, we will land on top of it. So also very, very useful. Before I give some tips, we also have the plus things. Surf Plus gives us more healing, very straightforward, and Smokescreen Plus gives us additional attack damage, 20% for 2 seconds after we use Smokescreen. So right here, you can see on the bottom right, there's an icon for it. During this time, you have additional damage. So right here's an example. This did 1,332 damage, Smokescreen into Surf, now it's 1,500 damage. Another reason why Smokescreen is so good, it just allows us to get that maybe crucial, Surf thing or Surf reset in. Let's talk about a few things you can do with this Pokemon. First, Smokescreen. Smokescreen can also be used to dodge things or like dodge away from opponents quite easily. You can either use Smokescreen just to run in a straight direction. They will still be blinded, but there's also ways of just outplaying your opponent by doing something like this. You use Smokescreen like this, you walk in this direction, and you will start walking back into a bush. This will work against a lot of players. Against someone like me, it often doesn't work because I know what the Greninja is doing. But you can be able to outplay a lot of opponents with the Smokescreen. Again, you can also enter a teamfight with this. You go in, do a Surf into boost auto attack or something. And early game as well, just going in for boost auto attack if you want to finish someone off is also quite nice. One of the most important thing about playing Greninja is making white Pokemon your allies. So what I mean by that is that a lot of times I will start pressing B in team fights to start lowering the HP of a Baltoy. So I can just like, let's say that this is actually an enemy, then I can surf and surf again. And if the enemy is also around, I can double surf them. So it is very important to, abuse white Pokemon to your advantage. So like this example, this Pokemon is here. I'm gonna, I auto-attacked it once and I can surf once, can surf twice, and suddenly the enemy is very, very low in HP, right? It's very, very important to use those white Pokemon to your advantage. Same for these Altarias, they're obviously amazing. You can surf multiple times through them. It just makes our life so much easier for farming as well. And yeah, so it's always very important. You see me every time I play Greninja, I always start, like during team fights, start B pressing, so, the white Pokemon button, to start getting things low. And also those Altarias, they will also heal every time you surf through any targets. You will also heal, so it will also help you just, sustain through team fights quite easily. Another thing I like doing is, so the boosted auto attack goes through a target, right? So let's say I want to rotate towards top side or something, or I want to rotate towards bot side. I walk this way, boosted auto attack through it, and then I surf into this direction. So I don't, my flow of like walking doesn't get destroyed. It's very, very important as well to understand when the boosted auto attack is up, because if the boosted auto attack is up, you can also mess up. So let's say I do this, I boost auto attack through it and then surf, and now my surf doesn't hit and I don't get the reset, right? So I'm gonna show it again. This is very, very important that you understand when the boosted auto attack is up, because otherwise a lot of mistakes can happen. Like we auto attack through it and then surf, right? Because you wanted to surf and then we don't get it. So very important to just like, that my boost auto attack now goes through the target to the right? So I do this and then I instantly do to the left to make sure I go back to the target. So I wouldn't recommend auto aiming either. So again, if you do this, we mess up very hard, right? But if we do, okay, now my boost auto attack didn't even go through. So we do this, bam, bam, we switch around, and then it's much, much easier to play around in your boost auto attack range, We can see this is one of the biggest tips I have for this Pokemon as well. Go through, surf in the other direction, go through, surf other direction, and then we use all these white Pokemon for our advantage. There's also something cool you can do with the eject button. You can actually do surf into eject button like this, and you can increase your surf range and surprise opponents. Of course, you can also just do eject button into surf, but I feel like doing a surf into eject button is kind of cool. It looks a bit more fancy. The way you just want to play team fights is you kind of just auto attack a lot, right? You auto attack a lot, you wait for people to get low, group up, then you night move in, and you want to make sure that there's like a target you can actually surf on. So let's say this Baltoy is an enemy, you make sure that we... Actually, it's just gonna get one shot. You want to make sure you find something that you can get a reset on if you jump into the opponents, because you're still very squishy and you want to get those resets in to keep going. So always make sure that you don't go in too early, you have to wait a bit, and also don't get messed up by auto aim, and that you jump to the right direction afterwards, so you don't jump the wrong direction so that you're not in surf range anymore. And these are pretty much... So besides that, the Pokemon is quite straightforward, right? You just have to understand when you get those resets in, and understand how many white Pokemon are around you to get better resets in. And yeah, we can just surf multiple times in directions. Right here, I messed it up as well. I currently don't have attack weight stacks in, so it feels a bit different. That's the only issue as well. If you have attack weight on, sometimes you feel like you might lose the feel for it, because every game you might have different amounts of attack damage values, but yeah. Very, very straightforward. And also very important, you can also use the white Pokemon to just go across walls. So like here's an example. You can use this to go across this wall, We can use this bite toy to go and cross this wall. So it also helps us escaping quite easily. We can use this blue buff right here to go across this wall if we get it low. So that's another thing of how to escape is by pressing B button, getting things slow, and then using your surf. You can go into multiple directions as well. Let's say you're fighting someone here, you want to go across across this wall. You want to go over this wall, you just surf this thing, then you just press B right here, you go over this wall. Of course, the start is not going to be up again, but you get my drift, right? You can abuse all these white Pokemon on the map for your advantage. That's one of the most important things on any Greninja. Let's head into some gameplay. We always make sure we start on this side of the map right here. We don't have to walk around. We can just bubble over and start auto-attacking this and, you know, walk with it right here. That's the best way of clearing it. You don't have to substitute over it either. This is by far the best way of doing it. And then we head over to the blue buff because it gives a cool reduction, which means a bit more bubbles. We start with the bubble, we start auto-attacking. And if it's like at half HP, we start going melee to make sure, you know, we get a bit more damage in. I just want to kite it over here though. Use another bubble. We can also stay in range from also quite easily because it gives a cool reduction. The problem is if I'm here in melee range, right, then I'm going to be late right here. And what I like to do is I like to do blue buff into this bite toy, into this. Because this bite toy I might not even do on my second rotation because it could be quite difficult when it comes to time for the mid-Altaria camp. And also I want to use my rapid fire scarf for the red buff. So I start auto-taking this bite toy maybe once or maybe not even at all. And then I start just auto-taking this and going for it with my rapid fire scarf. And again, going to melee at some point, but I also go to ranged to make sure that I can go towards the next bite toy much faster, depending on how much time I want to save. So we get to level 5 right here, we pick up our smoke screen. We're still not too good early game, but thanks to red buff and our passive, we can actually still get KOs if we play around it. So right here, we're going to start auto-attacking. I'm going to go forward with my smoke screen to get my boost auto-attack ready. We actually dash through the wall as well, that can also happen. That you dash through walls with your boost auto-attack. We're going to stack right here, our first attack rate stack, so very good early game already. I'm very happy. I'm going to look for this bite toy steal as well now. Get one more stack in. Gotta be careful, just Demi Jungler's not here, which he is now. I'm going to use it to stack one more time. I can use my smoke screen right here. And since he is blinded by my smoke screen, I get out easily anyways. So I didn't have to, you know, not too scary of a deal. And we just auto-attacking these in melee form. Press auto-attack right here on the Greninja right now because he's fighting us. And then say Levi, like this was actually so annoying. Because of double team, all of our auto-attacks on the double team. Start auto-taking the Greninja, smoke screen away again. And we get him. And now I'm very happy. I'm just going to go back to my jungle and instantly go back to blue buff. Make sure I get level 7 for these Altarias because Greninja is the best level 7 mid Pokemon most likely. It's very difficult to beat this Pokemon when he starts surfing on his Altarias, so I really want to get level 7. Go melee again, finish this one off with a basic attack from far away. Do this by a toy, and you can see now I will not do this by a toy, and this is why I did the red buff first. Just depending on time, of course. Like it wouldn't have mattered in this scenario anyways. But red buff might have still not just spawned in time. So yeah, pick up our surf right here, go towards mid, and do this by toy first. Gonna finish off. Since surf has no cooldown when you last hit something, we can just go for every last hit everywhere. Gonna get one of these straw blues very low. Now it's in position for me to surf. It's under half HP. So we surf it once, we surf the other one that also got low again. Now we have easy pickup, and these Altarias go down very fast. Another surf, looking for a gank now. This guy walks into me, start out basic attacking. He does have X speed and the berry. So he's quite out. Right now, I kind of want to look for one more stack if I can, because stacks are very important. Of course, you should never die for them, but if you can look for them, of course, you kind of want to. So start auto-taking range from right here, and then as soon as we see the angle to go in, we're going to start surfing in. Sadly, I actually wasn't the one who gets the takedown right there. Here I decide not to go for this goal because it's a bit too early, and I would finish it off at 728, which is just a bit too early to finish the goal off. I'm never a big fan of it, so I will not do it, and we just go for the Acetarias. I will maybe go back to my jungle for one more buff, and then we start going for the Reggie on bot side. Again, going for the surfs right here on the Altarias. I don't want to take too many though, because my Pupitan needs experience. They're going to score a bit more. I'm going to do this, and then we can either decide to go for red buff and bot lane, or straight up go back to bot lane. Both are complete fine decisions, but since I'm level 9 already, I decide to not go for my red buff and just go for this instead. Take one bunny just for the 5. We smoke screen in right here to maybe go for the Pupitar. I kind of was looking for him. And now we just look for a fight. We want to maybe look for a fight fast. Now we can break it. If I get 40 in right here, I'm very happy. So this is like a perfect overcap, right? So instead of, I could have just had 20 points. This is the difference, right? I could have just had 20 points, maybe going in. But instead, we got this thing, and now we have 40 on a 1 goal. So of course, it not always happens. Sometimes it could not happen. Now we smoke screen, look for the surf reset, we just surf forward, and we are lucky that we basic attack crit him. And we can fully stack almost. Gonna go right here. I'm also gonna pick up this Audino, because the enemies just died, so want to make sure that I'm gonna get experience. Gonna go for this Audino as well. And since I have Surf, I'm always super safe. I can just Surf back out here right now, and in case I'm in problems, I still got my other moves easily up. So now we can smoke screen out, we double Surf. My team is picking up the Reggie, and we're super fine. The enemies get Reggie lucky, but I'm already level 11 now, which is insane for this early into the game. I'm gonna pick up 2 buy toys as well right here, just very fast. So you can see me. Always make sure we aim our Surf accordingly to make sure we go towards the next target we want to go to. And we can also always dash across walls with it. So now here I'm going to melee form to do more damage to the Vigileki, even surfing once. As long as it's under half HP, we still do bonus damage to it. So it's totally fine, you don't have to always go for the last hit. Just if anything is under half HP, you do more damage. This guy's trying to steal my buffs away. Obviously want this one, so I surf once. I start auto-attacking him. Here I just surfed in just for melee range, cause I still have Rapid Fire Scarf, right? You guys remember? I have Rapid Fire Scarf. So if I auto-attack once or twice here, now my Rapid Fire Scarf activates on this, and my melee attacks are gonna do more damage than my ranged attacks. So I can start auto-attacking in melee form, do much damage. If he walks away, then he's still getting slowed by my ranged form as well. We keep on chasing. I tried to actually Unite move right here just to get the KO. Probably actually good, I got cancelled. Picking up some berries, this guy still walks back in. And again, we go into range and to melee form right here, unless he walks away, we surf in and we finish him off. Looking for the next targets now, but I have to be a bit careful, of course, my HP is not looking great. I have to smoke screen away. And now we just stay in range from and just wait until something happens. Healing up on the goal a bit, using the spy toys way to heal up is always very nice too. Our basic attack also have lifesteal, so every time we basic attack something, we get lifesteal, then we surf through, we get more healing. And now we just stay away a bit. I dash away with the surf there from the Tyranitar. I have to use my Unite move here, because I knew that Sis was probably going to Unite move me, right? So I kind of didn't want to just die to it, because I'm very high level right now. Surf through the Tyranitar to get away again, and now we stay in range form. In these scenarios, just make sure you stay as far away as you can, and you slowly start resetting my surf ability with my basic attack range, and then as soon as someone gets low, we surf back in and try to finish them off. Of course, this Trevenant is just very, very tanky. But yeah. Always make sure you don't go too greedy, because GRENINJA is actually very squishy Pokemon. It is very, very squishy, and you can get knocked out very, very fast if you're not careful. Going back to Red Buff right here, almost level 13 already, where we get our Smokescreen Plus, which do a lot more damage. And then we just keep farming our jungle. Our goal is always being 14 or 15 for late game, so very important. Using our surfs for the last hits on every single white Pokemon. Going across this wall as well, or going towards Spot Path. Only promise I don't have Unite move up for this bottom fight now, which is quite annoying, so I have to be a bit careful, which I don't think I was in this team fight. Gonna see if this was the team fight I wasn't careful in. But right now we want to stay in range until we find the surf angle. But in this game, I could have maybe surfed in there, but I knew my team had the KO anyways. Here I get a greedy. Here I went a bit too greedy. But I didn't expect to die this fast, honestly. I didn't expect to die this fast. I surfed quite early because I thought I would just finish off the GRENINJA. So, as you can see, you die very fast. Even I'm level 30 and these both are level 10, and you can see how fast I died, right? So right here, I surf in. He still takes damage because he's under half HP. But it wasn't enough damage to get the KO, and then somehow I just die very fast against 2 level 10 Pokemon. So this is the perfect example of how squishy this Pokemon still is, doesn't matter what. So we can fast forward a bit. That's gonna happen. I'm gonna respawn. And I'm gonna smoke screen right here because I don't want the Sylveon to see me coming. So right now he doesn't see me that I'm there. I'm gonna spawn instantly. As soon as I appear again, I will auto-attack him with a boosted auto-attack, which slows him because I'm in range form. I'm gonna start auto-attacking, surf in when he hits pretty much half HP. And then we just finish them off with basic attacks in melee form. Because again, they do missing HP damage, so the lower they are, the better it goes for you. And now we just look for some more experience, steal some stuff away, still looking for level 14. I fully stacked attack vex, so I don't really have to go for this. So looking for playing the enemy jungle right here. In these scenarios right now, like this is the best example, we just start auto-attacking white Pokemon, because we want surf reset. Smoke screen away from the Horn Leech, and we surf once. We can get this, we try to kite now. I want to Unite move one more time because I just can. It's, you know, it's 320. This is pretty much the last time I can Unite move as GRENINJA, if I still farm as well. If I don't farm, I can't do it this late anymore, because it actually has decent high cooldown. But you can see the Unite move. I try to angle my surf perfectly afterwards, so I drag the surf over here. I want to kill this guy right here. Drag it over, and we jump towards this side, and I'm going to surf through him from right to left. Just make sure you know exactly where you land, and then we surf through him, pick up an easy KO. Get Horn Leeched again. I could have probably full healed there, but I'm not really in any danger right now. Okay, now I'm in danger, so I full heal. This was a bit unfortunate. I actually died across this wall. So what my goal here was is, I could have maybe also just waited a bit, but I was dropping super low very fast again. As you can see, I'm very squishy. So one bullet punch right here, I get Trevenant Unite moved. I full heal it, but it's still a bit late. I basic attack once here, and I don't think I could have basic attack another time. Maybe I could have, but I could have maybe used this Bite Toy then if I do my basic attack to go across this wall. But my goal was to just surf here, get some HP, smokescreen across this one, walk into this bush maybe, and try to just start basic attacking afterwards. But then I get hit across the wall by this bullet punch, who doesn't even see me. Which I was like, okay, sure. So I actually go down in the end. I honestly don't even know how that hit me. So yeah, again, if you mess up, you get punished very fast on this Pokemon. Very, very fast. That's also, I don't want to show off like a perfect game of Greninja. I want to show off a game where I also did mistakes. So you guys understand that, you know, you get punished very, very fast on this Pokemon. And it's very difficult. So yeah. Now we head towards Rayquaza. We live 14.5 though. So it's looking quite good for us. I can still maybe get 15. That's what I'm currently looking for. I have 30 seconds to get level 15. I see these Atarias are top side, so I'm going to start surfing towards them. We surf once, we surf twice, and then we have another surf to finish off the big Ataria 2. And now we're almost 15. Just checking right now. I'm going to go back to my Ripoff right here. I'm going to pick it up. I know my Zoomer is also going for it right now, but it gives me level 15. And I also still need my Unite move up, so I actually take it away from him, because it's just more important on me. If every of my basic attacks slows, it's more important. 15, my Unite move is back up, as I mentioned, because I did Unite move quite late for Greninja, but I was still in time because I was farming enough. The last team fight can always be a bit careful, like you have to be careful in the last team fight. If the enemy Scizor just Unite moves me, I'm in big trouble. I'm instantly very low. You kind of have to wait for your team to engage a tiny bit before. Like don't just ever jump in first necessarily directly, unless you have a Blissey. If you have a Blissey and you know he's going to Unite move you can jump in. For now, we just stay in range form and we start auto-attacking, hoping that my team does something. Until I see the opening. So I see the Sylveon on half HP right here, so I decided to finally Unite move in. After also I see Tyranitar running towards me. I Unite move in, but the Sylveon actually jumps to the side and somehow dodges it. And I kind of just surf away because I'm kind of scared that something is going to happen. And now we just go back and start basic attacking in range form. Start basic attacking in range form, try to get our surf back up with our basic attacks again since they give cooldown reduction. I smokescreen in right here, away from these because I want to go for the Sylveon, which probably was quite greedy. I surf through them. And then luckily, somehow this enemy Greninja just does a big mistake. He tries to cap right here. I land right on him, and I'm just gonna KO him. And now my entire team is dead, so I kind of have to still make a play. I can't let the enemies just do Rayquaza for free. So I walk here, I start basic attacking. Luckily that Sylveon is quite scared as well, because he knows that one surf could probably KO him right here. So he's quite scared. And I actually managed to fend them off of Rayquaza for now. So we use this to recall very fast. I need full HP still in case there's a refight. So I'm just going to walk towards bot path. The enemies have two decisions right now. Either they go for Rayquaza or they go for this right now. But since I made them disappear from Rayquaza, there's a high chance that someone might just push bot and try to get a sneaky cap in right here, which happens. We see the Trevenant. I start basic attacking. And I start walking away from this bush because I know he might Horn Leech me and start engaging on me. So you can see I'm running around. You can also see me in this next bush. I will not just straight up walk into it because I know Horn Leech can happen. Look, I sidestep. And what happens? He Horn Leeches right directly out of it. Here I dodge the Ancient Power Stun with my Smokescreen. Smokescreen also gives Unstoppable. So I'm able to dodge the stun with my Smokescreen. I'm going to show it again. Very, very important that is. I could have also used my full heal there. But this Smokescreen also makes him visible. And obviously Smokescreen has a lower cooldown. So right here, before he activates it, I Smokescreen and I dodge away from his stun. And now we start basic attacking and in range form. Just basic attack, basic attack. We try to get our Rapid Fire Scarf back up. And we try to get this Trevenant quite low. I surf in. He's under half HP, so he takes increased damage. Even if I didn't get the reset there, it's for sure something where I want to go in at some point. And here we saw Smokescreen into a surf for extra damage. This is also what you can do. Again, Smokescreen Plus gives us more damage. So the Greninja gets caught right here. And I'm just not risking it. I just want to make sure this Tyranitar dies, because if he goes down, the game is for sure over. So we Smokescreen. We have our bonus damage up. We surf across the wall. He goes down. We surf again. And this is where I also messed up. You can see this is what can happen when your boost auto attack is bad. If you don't realize your boost auto attack is up, this can happen right here. You see, I dash through the target and then I end up on the other side because I dashed through with the boost auto attack and I surfed again because I thought I would still be here. But I surf, I go through him, and then my surf is gonna miss. So another good example of why you have to always be aware when your boosted auto attack is, which in teamfights can be quite difficult, of course. Right? Like being aware in team fights if your boost auto attack is up or not. I did use my Smokescreen right there. So that's why I had a boost auto attack up. And I just wanted to make sure that I used my surf very fast and then realized my boost auto attack was still ready. And then I went right through the target. And yeah, got him down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was the end of the guide. Wasn't the best Greninja game. I just want to showcase something basic. Something, you know, not too crazy, so you guys have a good feeling for how much this Pokemon can do in certain games. But I think it was still a pretty solid game overall. We got very high experience. We did 120k damage. Hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and if you did, feel free to subscribe to my channel and like this video.